Hi, it's Greg Hurrell here, and today I want to talk about dealing with the verbose command output in Vim. So an example of this would be the output of the highlight command. Now when you run a command like this, Vim effectively shows it in a pager. It's not as sophisticated as something like less. It has some key bindings that you can see if you hit question mark or pretty much any other key that it doesn't know how to deal with. As you can see, you can basically just move up or down. You can also quit. But there are some keys that aren't listed in the help output, like for example, G will go to the top and Shift G will go to the end. And when you get to the end, it says here pressing enter will continue, but I think pressing pretty much any key will. So that was space that I just hit there and it ended. So the problem I have with this pager is you can't search through it. So for example, just say I know that I want to look at stuff related to the built-in LSP. I can't hit slash. And so the only way to find it is to scan through it visually. And as you can see, it's not sorted. So let's look at some ways that we can deal with this output. Now, in this particular case, the easiest way is just to use the filter command. And that enables me to provide a regex. So the example I gave was that I wanted to find things that had the string LSP in them. So now I'm going to run hi, and you'll see that it filtered that list down. Now, there are a few gotchas with this filter command. One is that it doesn't actually work with all Vim commands. It only works with a subset. And you can find out what that subset is in the help. So let's just quickly have a look at that. As you can see somewhere in here, yep, there's the list of commands that we can search with. Filter. The other thing that you'll notice about filter is it only searches part of the command string. So just say, for example, I wanted to find highlight groups that set a background, and I searched for BG. It didn't actually find anything. And that's because the filter command, in the case of highlight groups, only searches the group name. So this command works really well in those situations where you want to find highlight groups, but it has limited application elsewhere. So let me show you two other techniques that we can use to get the output of a long command like this. One is available on Vim 8, and it is the execute function, I should say. So we're going to use this, and basically it works like this. We can run any command we want, and once again we're in a pager. But we didn't have to echo it. We could have also done something like assign it to a variable. So let's just say let var equals that, and now I have it in a variable and I can do stuff with it. Potentially even more flexible way of capturing output is the redir command, which I'll just briefly pull up here. And there are a few different syntaxes here. For example, this one that we're looking at right now is about redirecting messages to a file, but you can also redirect command output to registers or variables and potentially other places as well that I'm not aware of. So let me just give a quick demo of that. Let's just say I wanted to stick this in a file. Let's stick it in temp hi, and then we run the highlight command, and we can go all the way to the end. I don't actually know if it's necessary to go all the way to the end to capture the full output, but I am doing it anyway just to be sure. And then we run redir end. And if I open that file, you'll see that we got all the contents there. So if this is something that you do often, you might want to wrap this up in a command and maybe even assign it to a mapping. But I don't do it that often, so when I want to do it, I just type redir and then open the file. Obviously, the strength of this approach is that you can edit the buffer and do stuff with it like you would, because it's just a Vim buffer with text in it. So those are the three main ways that I'm familiar with for dealing with verbose command output. The first one I showed you, filter, is my preference because it's so easy. But every now and again you do need to drop down to these lower levels and use something like the redir command. One thing to bear in mind with redir though is it has some limitations, which I think are mentioned in the docs. And what I'm thinking of specifically here is you can't nest. No, it doesn't actually say it there, but if you were to run redir and then end up calling a command that itself called redir internally, Vim would throw an error. So that's something that you might see if you start to use it a lot. So that's all I've got on the subject of capturing command output. Hope that was useful, and I'll see you again next time.